Right now at 10, the KBI releases an update following an officer-involved shooting Friday in Chanute. Plus, a car drives into a gas station in Seneca. Also,
Henri pummels the Northeast with wind and rain. I'm Bradley Blackburn on New York's Long Island with the flooding concerns now that the storm has made landfall.
Autocross isn't your normal race car driving. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how the sport differs and why so many came out to Neosho to improve their skills.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Kansas Bureau of Investigation says the man shot by a Chanute police officer Friday has died. According to the KBI, 28-year-old Brandon Schlichting died just after 1 this morning at the University of Kansas Medical Center. On Friday, August 20th, Chanute police received reports of a suspicious person looking in car windows. When an officer arrived, he attempted to make contact with Schlichting, who then pulled a weapon from a holster. The officer fired 1 shot, striking Schlichting in the head. Police in Seneca, Missouri are currently investigating a vehicle wreck at Big Daddy's gas station. An officer who was on the scene tells KOAM that he got a call around 11:15 this morning about a car that drove through the gas station and liquor store's front door. He says a 61-year-old male driver was trying to exit the store's parking lot when something went wrong, causing the car to crash through the store. Driver error is suspected, but the officer says there was no indication that the driver was intoxicated. Fortunately, nobody was injured during the crash, and as of now, the driver is not facing criminal charges. Henri made landfall in Rhode Island Sunday as a tropical storm. With millions of people in its path, Henri's heavy rain and pounding sustained winds are threatening to topple trees, down power lines, flood streets and homes from New England down to New York and New Jersey. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn is on Long Island in Mattituck, New York.
Henri slammed into Rhode Island's coast with high winds and lashing rain as it made landfall Sunday afternoon. The storm slowed down but continued pouring rain on a wide swath of the Northeast.
We are taking it seriously, though, because the size and the storm surge and the rainfall is producing.
Outgoing Governor Andrew Cuomo warned New Yorkers about storm surge and flooding, especially in coastal areas like Long Island.
So please take precaution.
In Rhode Island, this hurricane barrier was deployed to help prevent flooding in downtown Providence. From Massachusetts to New Jersey, the storm has flooded homes, toppled trees, and knocked out power for thousands.
It's getting deep and it's coming through. Open the gate.
New Jersey resident Kelly Richards is trying to take in the damage.
It's upsetting because it's going to be a lot of damage for a lot of people. Cars are under and basements are wet.
Here on Long Island, people were fearing this could be another Superstorm Sandy that parts of New York are still recovering from nearly 9 years later.
Nothing worse than usual. You know, we're used to the hurricanes out here in Montauk. You know, so far, actually beautiful, not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Outer bands of Henri hit New York City last night, as seen in this time-lapse video. Rain made it into the city's subways and put an early end to an all-star concert in Central Park, just as Barry Manilow was about to sing "I Made It Through the Rain." Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Mattituck, New York.
National Weather Service says heavy rainfall may also lead to flooding well inland across parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, eastern Pennsylvania, and much of New Jersey. Conditions will slowly improve across the region by Tuesday. Thankfully, nothing quite like that in our area, though we could use a bit of a cool down. Nick Kelly joining us.
Yeah, it was certainly nice to see the rain from yesterday, Chris, keep us in the 80s. Well, fortunately, we could not do a repeat performance of yesterday for today as we wrapped up the weekend. 73 this morning, back into the heat with highs right around 94 degrees, above our average high of 90 once again. Well, I had to keep an eye, though, on at least some thunderstorms across the Kansas-Nebraska line. With the way they're tracking, though, mainly east, they don't have a shot of making it here. So while it is nice that we're going to keep mainly quiet as we go throughout the night, it doesn't get rid of these. East heat advisories for pretty much the entire region, taking us until Thursday evening at the latest at 7 o'clock. On the one hand, it'll look nice throughout the night and throughout the day tomorrow, but with that south breeze staying light, we'll go from 76 in the morning to highs near 96 degrees, Chris, not to mention the humidity making it feel so muggy and warmer than it'll actually be. We'll break down the rest of the forecast and see how long this heat wants to stick around later on.
All right, Nick, thank you. 2 Joplin businesses teamed up to get kids ready to head back to the classroom. Salon 529 in Joplin and Pink Homes Real Estate worked together Sunday to give back to the Joplin community with their annual Give Back event. Kids were able to receive free haircuts as well as backpacks filled with back-to-school supplies.
School can get expensive with clothes and supplies and haircuts, so we wanted to offer this free service to anyone who was willing to show up and take advantage of our offering for them. And we are super excited to be able to have our stylists volunteer their time to come in and offer these free haircuts.
Many area schools start on Monday, so the Salon and Pink Homes say they thought this would be the perfect time for kids to get their supplies and look fresh for the school year. Well, autocrossing is a type of racing not many have heard about. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky rode along with some racers to see what the sport is all about and how it differs from traditional race car driving.
Autocrossing isn't your typical style of racing.
We set up courses in large airfields or parking lots with cones. We run 1 or 2 cars at a time. The cars don't get close to each other, so there's no risk of them hitting each other. And it's a timed event, and so it's a competition to see who can make it through the course the quickest.
Each race only takes about 45 seconds to complete, with speeds reaching up to 75 miles per hour.
It's a competitive event, and we all want to be the fastest.
These people race not just to improve their skills, but also because they love the thrill that the competition brings.
You keep your skills fresh when there's a new challenge, a new course every time. And it's great if you're experienced. It's great if you're a novice too. Get the car control skills down.
Jim Rowland has been autocrossing for about 20 years and says it's as much fun now as when he first started.
There's a new track every time, so there's a new challenge every time you go to an event. That's part of the fun.
And these thrill seekers aren't afraid of a little speed.
It's more thrilling than scary. I find it's a blast just because you have to do a lot of maneuvers in quick succession, so it feels very intense.
Autocrossing is educational for racers as well, and event organizers say those who get really involved with the sport can have bigger opportunities come their way.
Really a great way, to drive your car as fast as you can in a controlled and safe environment. And if you really enjoy it, then it could lead to other things like road racing on bigger tracks.
In Neosho, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Racers that came out earlier today ranged from newcomers to seasoned competitors. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Staff Sergeant Jared Page is currently serving in the Air Force and has received numerous awards and commendations. His hometown, Grove. We're proud to recognize Staff Sergeant Jared Page, tonight's 4-state hero. Special performance still ahead on the KOAM News at 10. We're heading to the ROCC, or the Rock, in Joplin as they gear up for a fundraiser this Friday. Well, it's time now for another fine edition of Connecting Communities. Tonight, we're paying a visit to The Rock at 14th and Main in Joplin. Now, ROCC stands for Recovery Outreach Community Center, which made it a perfect connection with the Non-Permitted Project. Here's Non-Permitted's president, Kyle Tracy.
My mission is to reach the community where they're at, to bring that spark of hope back into the community. And we're talking about mental illness and different things, and part of that is going through recovery. When you go through recovery, you get a better understanding of who you are as an individual and where you need to go. And this is a perfect, amazing base for it.
Now, there's an event coming up this Friday, which we'll get to in just a moment. It's going to feature a number of bands, one of which is Vagabond Grove. We asked the leader, Caleb Miller, why this event is so important.
Mental health is a big part of what we do for the non-permitted, and that's a big part of, myself. I've had a lot of my own struggles there, and so being able to support other people and be able to support groups that are helping other people is just huge for me.
Now, on Friday, as we mentioned, they're going to be holding a special fundraiser at The Rock.
Friday, August 27th, we're having 4 bands, Fox Chorale, The Darters, Blister Soul, and Vagabond Grove and the Drifting Heads here. Doors open at 6:30. There'll be food trucks and everything.
So those guys you saw there are part of Vagabond Groove. So we're going to give you a quick preview of what you can expect this Friday. And they're going to go ahead and perform their original single, Settle Down. Now, as Kyle mentioned, the Back to School Bash and fundraiser is this Friday, August 27th at 6:30 at The Rock. That's 1402 South Main in Joplin. The money raised will go to support the Non-Permitted Project, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, Black Box, and of course, The Rock. If you'd like more information on the Non-Permitted Project, you can check them out on Facebook at The Non-Permitted. We'll have additional links in this story on our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, special birthday a little later on the KOAM News at 10. A zoo celebrating a very special first birthday.
But first, we dove back into the heat and humidity today. How long is it going to stick around? The answer up next.
6 days left.
While it was more than nice of Mother Nature to bring in the thunderstorms yesterday and keep us in the 80s for highs, sadly we couldn't repeat yesterday all over again today. While it did look nice, our time lapse from Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri, showing us a nice sunrise, partly to mostly sunny skies throughout the day. Followed that up with a pretty nice looking sunset. That just brought the heat and humidity back into play starting today after we hit the mid to upper 80s yesterday. Thanks to the rain and storms we had on Saturday morning, we only dropped back to 73 this morning. And look at where we went. No surprise, since it's still August after all, back into the lower to mid 90s this afternoon. And again, Joplin Regional hitting 94 degrees this afternoon. After we had maybe a couple of showers early this morning, we were trying to keep an eye on our southern counties to see if we could get a stray shower or storm to pop up as the heat and humidity returned, as well as the front lifting back on through. But those did not come to fruition, so we're looking pretty calm on the radar network, but the Skywatch Storm Tracker nonetheless has this as our main weather headline for much of the week. These heat advisories for pretty much the entire region until Thursday at the latest at 7 o'clock in the evening. So we are set for a string of hot and humid days as we kick off this final work week of the month of August. At least it looks okay right now still in Joplin. 7th and range line looking at mostly clear skies up top, but still warm at 82. muggy with dew points in the mid-70s. That's why it still feels like 89 degrees outside. Even with a couple of spots in the upper 70s like Fort Scott, Nevada, Greenfield down to Monette, everyone else is mainly in the lower to middle 80s, but no matter what your number on the thermometer is, the humidity is trying to make it feel like we're still near 90 late on this Sunday night, and we'll only drop back into the mid-70s before we dive right back into the heat and humidity for tomorrow. The wider view of the storm tracker, though, shows a couple of thunderstorms, even severe storms, along the Kansas-Nebraska line. I still don't think they have a shot of making it here, so we stay quiet while any of those storms stays close to the front, to the north of us. But again, this same front that brought us the storms on Sunday, no, scratch that, Saturday morning, it's flipping back to the north, and at the surface, this upper ridge is definitely building back in. So that is certainly setting us up for the heat and humidity to lock in as we go throughout the next couple of days. Again, the thunderstorms, they're going to stay well to the north of the region. So that leaves us quiet to start Monday morning out, but warm to start Monday morning out, with lows dropping back to 76, lower 90s by lunchtime, and with mostly sunny skies, we will easily jump back into the mid-90s for highs once again. 76 in the morning, 91 by noon, afternoon highs around 96. Generally a light south and southwest breeze throughout the day, maybe an occasional gust near 15, but that also keeps the humidity in play. Dew points back in the lower 70s for a good number of you. It'll feel like 100 to 105 across Kansas and Missouri, while it'll feel like at least 105 down in northeastern Oklahoma during the peak heating of the afternoon. As long as this upper ridge stays in place Tuesday, Wednesday, and even on Thursday, even though that ridge weakens, we'll stay hot and humid for sure. But as that ridge weakens by Thursday, hopefully that'll be enough for the heat and humidity to bring maybe a few isolated storms Thursday and next weekend. But our main focus, Chris, are the alert days tomorrow through Thursday because of the heat and humidity. Highs around 96 to 97, and those morning lows staying warm in the mid-70s.
A rather unpleasant week, a good week to stay indoors.
Sounds about right to me.
No rain today, though.
No, and if you had outdoor plans, no rain tomorrow either.
All right, that's looking good. So, Nick, thank you so much. And I wanted to take a quick second. I made a mistake earlier. I had misread something. It's Vagabond Grove, not Groove, the group that performed earlier. So you got to get the names right. And when you're looking at these letters, sometimes they all look the same.
It all kind of mixes together sometimes.
That it does. Well, something that's not mixing together, something that's going pretty well. Chiefs on the road for another preseason contest.
That's right, Chris. They were out in Arizona this Friday. We'll take a look back at the game coming up. Plus, the Baxter Springs Lions are preparing for the fall season, aiming to claim their first win since 2018. The story next. This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Baxter Springs Lions finished their first week of fall practice. After back-to-back winless years, new head coach Russell Burr and his team are hopeful to turn the program around. The Lions face some challenges again this year. They have just one senior on the roster and are battling low numbers and low interest. However, off-season preparations have shown promise, and the Lions are determined to rewrite their story.
I think our skill people are pretty good. We don't have a lot of numbers, but our kids are working pretty hard. And we got some athletes. It's just a matter of can we go the full game, because we just don't have a lot of guys. The first win for us will be huge. We are on a streak right now. We haven't won in a couple of years, actually. So our first win will be a time of celebration.
The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Arizona to face the Cardinals in the second week of preseason action. The Chiefs defeated the Cardinals 17-10, making them 2-0 in preseason play so far. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes played for nearly 2 quarters. He completed 10 of 18 passes for 78 yards. Then, backup Chad Henne connected with Mecole Hardman for a 17-yard touchdown, and Shane Buechele found Jerick McKinnon in the end zone for the second Chiefs touchdown. Here's what Mahomes had to say about the win.
I think the most valuable thing we did was kind of have those long, sustained drives. I mean, it's awesome to score with one play, and I'm sure we'll have a couple of those during the season. But to have those drives where you have to kind of grind it out, I think that's the biggest thing that you get away from this game. Definitely a good showing for the offensive line. I thought they protected well, we ran the ball well, and you can always learn from the things that we did.
The Chiefs will play their final preseason contest at home against the Vikings on Friday. That brings us to our one and only break in the Toyota Sunday Night Sports feed. Still ahead, the Cardinals and Royals both close out series today. Highlights next.
Pets.
Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports feed. The roller coaster continues for the Cardinals. Following a 6-game winning streak, St. Louis has now lost 4 of their last 5. Today, they're in danger of getting swept by a poor Pirates team. In the series finale, Yadier Molina drives in the first run of the game. He singles to left center and Paul Goldschmidt scores. Later in the 5th, Goldschmidt here again sends this one out to Big Mac land, his 19th homer of the year. Adam Wainwright letting nothing by today. Gets Michael Perez looking here. And then Ben Gamel goes down. 9 strikeouts and 8 shutout innings for Wainwright. Late in the game here, Harrison Bader drops it into center. Molina comes around to score. Cards get the job done tonight, a 3-0 victory. The Royals going for the sweep today against the Cubs. Hunter Dozier starts it off with a hit to center to score Andrew Benintendi. Then Benintendi puts it in nearly the same spot, this time for a 2-run double. It's 3-0 Royals. Lopez now finds grass in right center, an RBI single. A game of small ball for the Royals today, and it gets the job done. A dominant 9-1 road victory for Kansas City. We're back after this.
Better.
A giant panda at the Smithsonian's National Zoo is enjoying a big birthday weekend, and that includes a lot of cake. Marcella Robertson reports.
From a tiny cub to a much bigger, still very adorable panda.
He's about 58 pounds as of today, which is great. Physical milestones are certainly something that we look for, and he's hitting all of those just fine.
Xiao Shiji celebrated his first birthday Saturday. He cautiously followed his mama, Mei Zhang, outside. That's where a cake and other treats were waiting for him. But the tiered cake with a #1 topper, it's not the kind of cake you and I would eat.
So yeah, these are healthy cakes, and that's something that we make sure happens here. Diets are very important. The things that we feed the animals are very important. So what we have here are largely ice cakes, and they're colored with different fruit juices, and there's some produce in there, which is something that they normally get.
This last year, the world has been able to watch the baby panda grow. From his very first steps, first sweet potato, his first toys, and even getting on mom's nerves like a true toddler.
He is truly the miracle cub that we talk about.
Because his mother, at 22, was the oldest giant panda to give birth in the country. He's also the DC Zoo's first giant panda cub in 5 years. Zookeepers say he came at just the right time during a year where people needed something to smile about.
You come down here and just watch him, you can't help but, at least for a few minutes, forget about some of the craziness and just watch some of the antics that he does. His eating, his sleeping, his playing, all of that stuff, I think helps everybody cheer themselves up for a little bit.
Now, Xiao Shiji was born during the pandemic, so not many people have had the chance to see him in person. So instead, the National Zoo has been keeping everybody up to date on his latest activities on social media. Social media is a great way to stay up to date on things that are important. For example, weather.
Well, probably they don't want to check on it this week because they're not going to like it. We'll say hot and humid Monday through Thursday. That's why we have the alert days out, because of the high humidity, but the official highs around 96, 97 degrees.
Not a pleasant week ahead. Danny, final check in sports.
Good news for local baseball fans. Cards and Royals both get the job done today.
See, and that makes for a good week. That balances out these temperatures.
Yeah, certainly for the Cards, like they just needed a consistent win streak here, and hope they can keep it going.
Yeah, hopefully so. Nick, Danny, thank you so much. That's our time for now, and thank you for making us part of your night.